Hey y'all, I'm Rich. I build stuff. This is part 53 of my Dreadnought playlist, and okay. Let's go ahead and get to the part where I turn this to this. Doesn't look like I did much this month, does it? I did all this too. Did I mention I made an interior?
Alrighty. So here I am, putting some bits on the, so what I do is, for adding the little greeblies that I added to the ship proper, I put the plastic bits after removing them, deflashing them onto a piece of masking tape that I put onto a paper card to make them easy to move and adjust.
So yeah, I thought I saw it. Mold flash and misalignment. Yeah, you gotta be really up close to see it. But it's gonna pop when the paint hits it, so I gotta correct that.
And you can see here, I go ahead and I start adjusting things and removing mold flash. Now, for me at least, the painful thing about mold flash is even though these are ridiculously tiny parts, I'm still going to see it. The paint's just going to make it pop, and I'm going to think, oh, well, I have standards, and then there we go. I'm removing mold flash from these really tiny Canons, and doing it and taking a lot of time, despite the time lapse.
Well, I mean, of course little piece flies off in random direction. That's how it always is. That's why I should have left it on the sprue. I will learn nothing from this. Okay, you know what? Trumpeter, being the good company they are, has blessed us with this new and marvelous technology called spares. So I'm just gonna deflash one of these pieces instead. I'll use that and put that on instead of the other one that flew off to, I don't know, whatever Fantasyland had a donkey and an elephant that lived on a hill and never had an argument. I guess this is called a sprue gate. Look, I don't know what all the technical terms are. All I know is if you trim off all the excess plastic and you paint carefully, you layer your primer, you thin down your paints, that it turns out good. Alright, so right on the opposing side, but G5 and G8. That calls for in the instruction up there. And these nibs are like so darn tiny, I don't know if they're legitimate or not. I'm going to assume they are just because there's other little nibs that are on the ship.
So those boxes that I'm now putting on this piece of masking tape actually would have legit had hinges because they were covers for various machinery. I think it was like used in lowering or raising the boats and whatnot, or flutzing around with the ship's rigging, which was actually important even back then because reasons not germane to this channel.
Right here. I've got some guns to put in, but these holes form, they get filled up with paint, they aren't quite exposed to bare plastic, so there's a chance it just doesn't work. Gotta pre-drill them out. Just a little bit. Okay. So here come the guns. Do.
Yeah, me with all the fancy words as I try to put a piece of one of those quote-unquote greeblies onto the ship. I dip into super glue while holding the tweezers on parts that don't get dipped in super glue as a way to make it easy. But hey, do you want to hear what I talk to myself with when I'm doing things like that? Or really anything in the shop, to be honest. This is an example.
You want a really good high that you can possibly deny, paint thinner. Okay, number one, adjust the brightness because apparently this camera thinks the shop is a little too bright. And two, I just replaced the paint thinner only to realize I hadn't, the primer, only to realize I hadn't primed that bit yet. Well, gonna have to go fix that, aren't I?
Oh, come on, we all talk to ourselves to some extent. I mean, what is it? Bones did it on the original Star Trek. But anyways, here I am just adding more little bits to the ship proper. Including little tiny bits that, like everything, fly out of the tweezers no matter if they're in or out of the sprue.
Here's a thing for you. Sometimes you're working with really small pieces and no matter how good the tweezers are, they just go dink and they fly off to wherever. Sometimes you get pieces, though, that are similar enough and repeated enough on your sprue that you can pull a sleight of hand.
So here I am painting some bits. As you can see, I put more of the little tiny bits on those wires. That's why I put them there. And here I am painting up the rafts. I started with a white to make things pop, and then there's the bridge.
Alrighty, so one of the interesting things with this Photo-etch kit that I got here, because I did get a Photo-etch extras kit, is that it gives you points where you're supposed to use Photo-etch from the original kit and Photo-etch from itself. Now, the last time this little guy here that I did this, they both fell onto the floor and into the land of oblivion, and I had to do a little cheat. Let us hope this time I do better, nah? Alright, so I turned off the camera, in part because it was going to be in my way, and, you know, what have you. But I somehow managed to get this one sort of right. I bent the top piece first, and I just put the bottom piece flat on. So I bent the top piece, bottom piece went on the chimney first, and then or funnel, and then this thing went on top of it as best I could. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but it does look a lot better than it could have looked. And alright. So yeah, what I'm doing is I'm assembling little bits, you know, that go together on, you know, this instruction page over here. Whee! And putting them on this so I can easily, you know, paint them in a bit. And there we go. Sweet. So as you can see, I got this here. I had a little gap I didn't want in this tank, though. Let's fill it. So I think this may be the full size, or the non-diluted surfacer. It may still be the diluted stuff I normally use, but I have in my little palette over here, you know, just I filled one of the walls with the thinner, the normal thinner that I use for cleaning, because I'm not going to go wasting the leveling thinner on this gap filling application. Notice I take this little thin brush, and I'm going to use a surfacer to do a bit of minor gap filling.
And here I go, folding up the bridge and folding windows and gluing them.
Alright, as I put this thing in front of me. So, I did the other one up, and I did it really good, so I figured I'd show y'all. And there's this guy here, which is a little fenced off bit for the on the superstructure. Figured I'd show you as best I can. Probably gonna make it sort of like one of them B-roll, I talk over it, and there's no sound from it things that you see because, well, I'm gonna listen to music while I do this because that's how I roll.
Alright, so here I am working on the other Photo-etch wing superstructure bit. And looking at me working with these with the tweezers and stuff, I'm wondering to myself if I should like make a little tiny mini press brake. And there I am working on some other stuff which was for the mast, which I also assembled for this. And of course assembled it in the wrong order relative to the instructions because I already went off the instructions when I built the whole damn interior to this thing. Alright, that's it. Hope you all enjoyed.
I am Rich. This is my show. I build stuff. This has been part... Let's go ahead and pull up the phone bit here. This has, been part 53 of my Dreadnought build playlist, and I hope you enjoyed. Guess it's time for that standard YouTube dance now. Like, share, subscribe, hooray! Peace out.